Hi everybody, welcome to the next episode of We Talk Tech Seniors. Today we're talking about future technologies. We don't quite have the flying wheelchairs Ian has been requesting, but we do have some brilliant devices which are enabling a whole new level of independence. Joining me to talk about future tech is Ian Price, Technology for Living's innovation strategist and aspiring flying wheelchair test pilot.
Feel the need for speed.
As well as Terry LeBlanc, Technology for Living peer. Terry has spent some time testing out these devices we're going to talk about today, so we're going to get his first-hand experience. So the first device we're going to talk about is the Ability Drive. The Ability Drive is developed by Tolt Technologies. It was made in response to a request by someone they knew who wanted to drive his wheelchair using just his eyes. Terry got the chance to try this for an afternoon. Terry, could you tell us what you thought about the Ability Drive? How was it to use?
It was the first time I've used any eye tracking software at all. So that took a little bit of getting used to. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of time to test the products, but I think given my first time, I could see in a gymnasium setting, trying to navigate or learning to navigate rather and use the product, it would be a big help. Yeah, it opened my eyes to eye tracking. You have to get up early, guys, for that.
So it looked like after a relatively short time that you were able to navigate throughout your home and even pull up to your desk, which I thought was quite brave of you to do as a tester.
Well, luckily my desk moves if I nudge it. Yeah, it was quite intuitive, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's so many great applications for eye tracking software. Just I know myself being able to move my thumbs, but in colder weather or if I'm quite tired, they're harder to move. So having technology such as that to be able to control everything just with your eyes is really, really impressive and exciting for the future. I can't wait to see what the next iteration is.
Yes. If you had a place like the GF Strong Gym, have a layout post with tape or something, you could learn it quite easily or quite quickly, I think.
Definitely. That's actually how I learned to drive my wheelchair, the first power chair, is they threw me into a gymnasium at Sunny Hill and said, okay, you have an hour to prove to us that you can operate a wheelchair, so let's do it. And I think I was about 4 at the time. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, to be fair to Terry, he only got a short afternoon with both of these devices we're talking about today. You can see he got a pretty good handle of the driving. It looked extremely smooth and it was very impressive how intuitive it seemed. And given maybe an afternoon to test this in a big gymnasium with an obstacle course set up or just living with it for say a week, I'm sure Terry, it would be like second nature to him. So it's a very interesting technology and I think it's just the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to say about it?
I'm excited to try it. I've tried Toby and I've had huge success with that, but to be able to operate a wheelchair just with eyesight, sign me up.
So the second device which Terry demoed is the Kinova Robotics JACO Assistive Robotic Arm. We're just going to call it JACO for short. The JACO is something truly cutting edge. It's amazing. You'll see it on screen here. It's a robotic arm which has all kinds of movement to it, and it's basically a third arm. And it's something I know myself and Ian have been coveting for a very long time. And we're both very jealous of Terry for getting to try it out for an afternoon. Again, Terry only got a short time with it, but he got it. He managed to do some picking up of small objects, and you'll see here he's picked up a joystick cap off of his table and he brings it right up to his mouth. And that's a good example of what you can do with it. We've also got some other images of other JACO users using the device to do more everyday living tasks like feeding themselves. There's another individual who's using it to go fishing. Another example I really liked was opening a mailbox. There was a young lady who used the JACO to go get the mail herself, which is something I know I would like to be able to do. That's a very interesting, just everyday living task, which would greatly increase somebody's independence. Terry, what did you think of the JACO? How did it work for you?
That piece of tech, probably because it was the last piece I tested, really stuck with me into the week. I was just reminded that I used to leave my lunch out on the table, half a sandwich and two apricots with almonds stuffed inside, so a little protein there. It was exactly the size of the tip that I picked up and simulated. I passed it to my mouth. I actually was able to grab it with my lips, and that was after an hour. So I'm sure if I'd had a few days more or a few hours more to test it, like in a rehab facility, yeah, it would be fully functional and usable, like seamless.
Right. You know, after just an hour with it, you were already missing it as soon as it was gone. It was starting to become the third arm you needed, right?
That's it.
Which is really interesting to hear that it's so useful. You remember, you feel the loss of it, which is, I think, a real strong testament to its usefulness. So, Ian, you also wanted to try the JACO, but unfortunately there was some technical incompatibilities. Do you know of other ways in which you can control the JACO? Like, did you plan to use your joystick, or was there another method of control?
Yeah, unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties the day of, and similar to Terry, I only had about an hour to play with it, so unfortunately, that didn't give enough time to have it function as I hoped. Yeah, but there are a number of different ways to control it. You can use super pop, joystick, micro switches, and a combination of both. So, for example, you could have the fingers open and close using a joystick, and then push a button, a micro switch, to switch it into a different mode, and then that would rotate the wrist. So there's lots of functionality, and something that you touched upon is that individual checking their mail, and not only were they just pulling the mail out of the box, they were literally picking up a key off of a table, if I'm not mistaken, and putting it into the lock. That shows how accurate this device is, and that's really what caught my interest initially. How accurate this device is. Just mind-blowing.
Very fine motor control with it, for sure. Yeah, it's, I think, very cutting edge. I think Kinova Robotics, the company behind it, is doing some extremely interesting things with robotic arms. The JACO is not their only product. They've got many assistive technologies for getting your movement back in your arms, so they've got some arm supports as well. But on the other hand, they have commercial robotic arms, which probably build stuff on factories. Maybe they've got Kinova arms building other Kinova arms. Who knows? That's where we're at with technology these days. So before we wrap up, we would like to thank Wabi Ganber from Active Healthcare Solutions for allowing Terry to demo all these devices. Never heard anything but good things about Wabi, and we very much appreciate him coming out to give Terry a demo of these devices and just showing us all these awesome new pieces of assistive technology. Thank you, Terry and Ian, for joining me to talk about future tech, and a very special thank you to Terry for agreeing to test out all these devices. It's not easy to learn something new, but he did an excellent job, and we've got the video proof that these things are very intuitive and can make a huge difference in somebody's life. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you for the next episode of We Talk Tech Seniors.